My in-laws kept insulting me in another language, thinking I didn't understand, so I responded during dinner in perfect fluency. Throwaway account because my husband browses Reddit. And I don't want this traced back to me. So I, 32F, have been married to my husband, 34M, for about 3 years. He's amazing, supportive, funny, kind, and I truly feel lucky to have him. His parents, though, that's a different story. My in-laws are immigrants from Eastern Europe. I won't say which country because I don't want to risk being too identifiable. But they speak their native language fluently. I'm not from that culture, and they've always assumed I couldn't understand a word of it. Which, at first, was true. But here's the thing. They were never nice to me. From the beginning, they were cold and passive-aggressive. Then it turned into something worse. They would say things in their language with smug expressions or exchanged glances, clearly enjoying themselves. Whenever I asked what they said, they'd wave it off with a, just talking about the weather, kind of answer. About a year into the marriage, I got suspicious and started learning the language on the side. I took online classes, listened to podcasts, watched movies, anything I could find. I never told my husband, just in case it amounted to nothing. But after 2 years, I'd say I was conversationally fluent. Especially when it came to understanding. That's when things got ugly. One night, we had dinner at their place, and they were particularly vicious. Right in front of me. They said, in their language, "She looks like a horse in that dress. No taste at all. Maybe if she lost some weight, the dress wouldn't cry for help. Our son must be cursed to end up with someone so plain." I was stunned. I had hoped I was wrong about them. But no. I had been sitting at that table for years while they tore me apart with smiles on their faces. I didn't say anything then. I waited and planned. Last week, we invited them over for dinner at our house. I cooked a traditional meal from their culture. Yes, I learned some recipes, too, set the table perfectly, and put on the same dress they had mocked. When we sat down to eat, they started with their usual fake smiles and harmless comments in their language. That's when I replied, in their language. I said, "Let me know if the food is edible. I made it based on your grandmother's recipe, the one you said was the only decent thing to come out of your bloodline." The silence was deafening. My mother-in-law dropped her fork. My father-in-law blinked like I had slapped him. Then I added, "And just so you know, this dress?" Still not crying. My husband looked between us and said, "Wait, what's going on?" I turned to him and said, in English, "I've understood every insult they've said for the past year and a half." He was stunned. They tried to backtrack, claim it was jokes and cultural differences, but I wasn't having it. I told them that until they can speak to me with basic human decency, they're not welcome in our home. My husband backed me up 100%. Later, he told me he had always suspected they were saying unkind things but didn't know how to prove it. He felt guilty for not learning their language himself. We're both now going low contact unless they offer a sincere apology. I just wanted to share this somewhere. Petty? Maybe. But after years of smiling through the pain, it felt incredible to finally stand up for myself and do it on their terms. First update. Wow, I didn't expect this to blow up the way it did. Thank you so much for all the support and kind words. I've been reading every comment, even if I can't reply to them all. And it's honestly been validating and healing in ways I didn't anticipate. A few people asked what happened after dinner that night, so here's a little follow-up. The in-laws left pretty quickly after their failed attempt at damage control. My mill was visibly shaken, and my Phil kept muttering under his breath. They didn't even finish dessert. My husband was quiet for a while, just processing everything. That night, we had a long, honest conversation. He admitted that some things had never sat right with him. Like how I'd suddenly go quiet at family gatherings, or how his mom would change the subject when he walked into a room. But he'd chalked it up to personality differences, not deliberate cruelty. He told me he was proud of me for how I handled it and said he'd talk to them the next day. And he did. Alone. Apparently, he told them flat out that their behavior was unacceptable. And that if they wanted a relationship with either of us, an apology, a real one, was the bare minimum. They responded by accusing me of manipulating him and trying to break up the family. Classic. So yeah, no apology. Not even close. We've decided to go full no contact for the time being. They're blocked on everything. We've let mutual relatives know what's going on in case they try to spread lies, and we've got screenshots to back it up. It's sad, honestly, but also freeing. Final update. Hey Reddit. Just wanted to close the loop on this whole saga. A lot has happened since my original post. The most surprising thing? My husband decided to start learning his parents' language. Not just because of what happened, but because he wants to ensure our future kids, when we have them, grow up bilingual without inheriting the toxicity. He's been incredibly supportive. He even told his parents again that the door is open if they want to make amends, but only if they acknowledge the harm they've done. That was met with more silence. But the real twist? His younger sister reached out. Apparently, she had no idea her parents were treating me like that. She's in college, lives in another state, and only visits occasionally. She apologized on their behalf, not to excuse them, but to distance herself from their behavior. She said she'd always thought they were a bit stuck in their ways, but didn't know it had turned into cruelty. We've started to build a relationship, and honestly, she's great. She even asked me to help her practice the language so she can stay connected to her roots without all the baggage. As for me, I'm thriving. I've started tutoring online in the language I learned, which has turned into a surprising little side gig. Life is peaceful, and our home feels like a home again. So to anyone dealing with subtle, or not so subtle, abuse masked as culture, or jokes, you deserve better. You have every right to draw boundaries. And sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply fluency.